Did you know that one of the most influential philosophers in history, Seneca, was not just a philosopher but also a statesman and a dramatist? Fascinating, isn't it? Seneca, born in Córdoba, Spain around 4 BC, was an intriguing character, a philosopher, a statesman and a dramatist. He was a prominent figure in the mid-1st century AD, a time when Rome was at its peak. Seneca served as an advisor to Nero, one of Rome's most notorious emperors, and his life was as dramatic as any play he wrote. But his legacy lies not in his political career or his plays, but in his philosophical writings. He was a leading figure in Stoicism, a school of thought that emphasizes the development of self-control and fortitude as a means of overcoming destructive emotions. Stoicism teaches us to remain calm and rational in the face of life's challenges, to accept what we cannot change, and to take control of what we can. Seneca's teachings have stood the test of time and remain relevant even in our contemporary society. His writings offer a blueprint for facing life's adversities with grace and resilience. They guide us on how to live a life of virtue, wisdom and tranquility, regardless of external circumstances. One of the key principles of Seneca's Stoicism is the idea of living according to nature. This doesn't mean retreating to the wilderness, but rather understanding our place in the world, accepting our human limitations and living in harmony with the universe's natural order. Seneca's teachings also emphasize the importance of living in the present moment. He believed that our mind is the one thing we can control, and by focusing on the present, we can free ourselves from the anxiety of the future and the regrets of the past. His wisdom continues to inspire and guide us today. Whether it's dealing with stress, overcoming adversity, or finding peace in a chaotic world, Seneca's teachings offer timeless insights into the human condition. Now that we've gotten to know Seneca a bit, let's delve deeper into his teachings. Ever wondered what it truly means to live well? Seneca sure did. This wise philosopher spent a good deal of his life contemplating the true essence of a good life. According to Seneca, the heart of living well lies in the concept of eudaimonia, a Greek term that translates to flourishing or living in accordance with nature. This isn't about frolicking in the woods or being at one with the wilderness. No, Seneca's interpretation of living in accordance with nature is about aligning oneself with the fundamental principles of the universe. It's about understanding our place in the grand scheme of things and living a life that respects this cosmic order. So what does this mean in practical terms? Well, Seneca believed that happiness, true happiness, comes from within. It's not about external circumstances or material wealth. It's not about how much you have, but rather how you perceive what you have. Seneca proposed that the highest good is virtue, moral excellence. He argued that a virtuous life is a happy life, regardless of external circumstances. Now, this might seem a bit abstract. You might be wondering, how do I live a virtuous life? Well, according to Seneca, it starts with self-improvement, with cultivating wisdom and inner strength. It's about striving to be the best version of yourself every single day. Seneca also spoke about the importance of being present, of living in the here and now. He believed that to live well, we must fully engage with the present moment, rather than dwelling on the past or worrying about the future. In essence, Seneca's philosophy of life is about finding contentment within oneself, living virtuously, and embracing the present moment. It's a philosophy that encourages us to look inward for happiness rather than seeking it in external things. As you can see, living well isn't just about material wealth or success for Seneca. It's about inner peace, virtue, and understanding our place in the universe. It's about realizing that true happiness comes from within, and that we, and only we, have the power to make ourselves happy. How do you react when things don't go as planned? Seneca had some interesting thoughts on that. You see, to Seneca, adversity was not a misfortune to be feared, but rather an opportunity to be seized. He believed that the trials we face are not obstacles blocking our path, but rather stepping stones that pave our way to growth and wisdom. In his view, life's adversities were akin to a blacksmith's hammer, relentlessly shaping us into stronger, more resilient beings. Seneca saw suffering as an integral part of the human experience, as inseparable from life as shadows are from light. He argued that the act of suffering is not what causes us distress, but rather our resistance to it. We often spend so much energy trying to avoid discomfort, to stay within our comfort zones, that we forget how to face adversity when it inevitably comes. But Seneca, in his wisdom, urged us to accept suffering with grace. He counseled us not to shy away from hardship, but to lean into it, to learn from it. He wrote, "Difficulties strengthen the mind as labor does the body." He believed that through our struggles we gain knowledge, strength, and ultimately wisdom. Seneca taught us to view adversity as a teacher, a guide that shows us the areas in which we need to grow. If we are unable to handle a particular situation, it is not the situation that needs to change, but us. And so, each challenge we face provides us with a unique opportunity to learn, to improve, and to become better versions of ourselves. Seneca's teachings on adversity are not about being passive in the face of hardship, but about actively embracing it, using it as fuel for our growth. He encouraged us to view each challenge not as a stumbling block, but as a stepping stone. Each struggle not as an ordeal, but as an opportunity. So the next time you find yourself in the midst of a storm, remember Seneca's teachings. Do not wish for calmer seas, but for a stronger ship. Do not seek to avoid the storm, but to weather it, to learn from it, and to emerge from it stronger, wiser, and more resilient. Next time you face a challenge, remember Seneca's words. Did you know that Seneca considered the realization of our mortality as a path to freedom? He was a man who saw life as a fleeting moment, a brief interlude in the grand symphony of time. This understanding of life's impermanence was not a cause for fear or despair, but rather a source of liberation for him. Seneca knew, as we all do deep down, that death is a part of life. Yet he didn't just acknowledge it, he embraced it. He believed that once we truly understand and accept our mortality, we can free ourselves from the shackles of fear and anxiety. For Seneca, the spectre of death was not a grim reaper to be feared, but a liberating force that could set us free. Imagine if we lived every day as if it were our last. Would we not cherish every moment, savor every experience, and appreciate every interaction? Seneca thought so. He believed that the knowledge of our mortality could help us live more fully and authentically. He would often say, "Death stands at your elbow. Be good for nothing but the present, for which our lives are too short." In other words, live in the here and now. Don't squander your time worrying about the future or regretting the past. And yet, Seneca was not advocating for hedonism or reckless abandon. Rather, he was emphasizing the importance of living a virtuous and meaningful life. He believed that our actions, our decisions, and our character are what truly matter. After all, these are the things that define us, not the number of years we live. Seneca's views on death and the impermanence of life may seem a bit grim at first, but if we dig a little deeper, we can see the profound wisdom hidden within. By acknowledging our mortality, we can liberate ourselves from fear. We can live more fully, more authentically, and more virtuously. Seneca shows us that acknowledging our mortality can actually be liberating. So let's take a page from Seneca's book and embrace the impermanence of life. Let's live each day as if it were our last and strive to make every moment count. Time is the one resource we can't get more of. Seneca knew this all too well. The ancient Stoic philosopher held a profound understanding of the fleeting nature of time, a concept that still resonates with us today. Seneca argued that time is the most valuable possession we have. It's not wealth, status, or even knowledge that holds the utmost importance, but the hours, minutes, and seconds that tick away as we live our lives. He once wrote, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it." A powerful statement that reminds us just how vital it is to be mindful of the time we have. In his writings, Seneca emphasized that we should not squander our time on trivial pursuits. Instead, we should use it to engage in meaningful activities and cultivate our minds. He believed that time spent in the pursuit of wisdom, self-improvement, and helping others is never wasted. This perspective encourages us to carefully consider how we spend our days, hours, and even moments. Seneca's teachings also prompt us to reflect on the impermanence of life. He stated, "Life is long if you know how to use it." This isn't a call to pack our lives with as many activities as possible, but rather an urging to use our time wisely and purposefully. It's a reminder that it's not the quantity of time we have that matters, but the quality of how we spend it. In essence, Seneca's philosophy on time encourages us to live in the present, to be fully engaged in the here and now. Instead of yearning for the past or worrying about the future, we should focus on the present moment. This is where life happens, after all. This is where we have the power to make choices, to take action, to make a difference. Seneca's teachings remind us to cherish our time and use it wisely. It's a profound lesson that encourages us to live more intentionally, to make the most of the time we are given, and to truly value the present moment. After all, as Seneca said, the part of life we really live is small, for all the rest of existence is not life, but merely time. Wisdom isn't just about knowledge, according to Seneca. Picture an ancient philosopher deep in thought, contemplating the nature of wisdom. He posits that true wisdom is more than just an accumulation of facts and figures. It's about understanding the world around us, living in accordance with nature, and growing from life's adversities. Seneca, a prominent figure in Stoic philosophy, had a unique perspective on this concept. He contended that wisdom is not a product of schooling, but a lifelong endeavor. It's not about how much we know, but how we use that knowledge to navigate through life. It's about making sound decisions, learning from our experiences, and remaining calm in the face of adversity. Seneca saw wisdom as something that can't be obtained simply by reading books or attending lectures. Instead, he believed that wisdom comes from a deep understanding of ourselves and our place in the world. It's about recognizing our strengths and weaknesses and using this self-awareness to guide our actions. Seneca also emphasized the importance of living in harmony with nature. He believed that by observing and understanding the natural world, we can gain insights into human nature and our own behavior. This includes understanding that everything in life is temporary and that we should not become attached to material possessions or status. Moreover, Seneca believed that wisdom comes from adversity. He argued that challenges and hardships are not obstacles, but opportunities for growth. They teach us resilience, patience, and humility. By embracing life's difficulties, we can become wiser and more resilient. Seneca's views on wisdom are as relevant today as they were in ancient Rome. They remind us that wisdom is not just about acquiring knowledge, but about using that knowledge to live a good and meaningful life. It's about understanding ourselves and the world around us, and using this understanding to navigate life's ups and downs. In the end, the path to wisdom is a lifelong journey. It's about continual learning, personal growth, and resilience in the face of adversity. It's about living in harmony with nature and recognizing the impermanence of life. Seneca's teachings offer us a unique perspective on what it means to be wise. It's a perspective that can guide us on our own path to wisdom, helping us live more fulfilling and meaningful lives. Seneca's teachings have left a profound impact on the world of philosophy. We've journeyed through the power of Stoicism, understanding its role in shaping a calm and resilient mind. We've learned the art of living, a masterclass from Seneca himself, in leading a fulfilling life amidst the chaos. We've embraced adversity, recognizing it not as a setback, but as a stepping stone to personal growth. We've reflected on life's impermanence, accepting it as a reality, and using it as a motivation to live fully. We've acknowledged the importance of time, treating it as the most precious resource we possess. And finally, we've treaded the path to wisdom, following Seneca's footsteps, understanding that wisdom comes not from knowledge alone, but from the application of that knowledge. In today's fast-paced world, these teachings still hold relevance, offering us a blueprint to navigate life's challenges. If you found this video helpful and informative, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it. Until next time, keep exploring the fascinating world of philosophy.